The other thing we do is when a driver completes a shift, we get a table of completed shifts or a list of completed shifts. So to view the completed shifts, you just go to the completed shifts screen, and that will just show you a table of completed shifts filtered by a date range, and you can also look up a driver by their driver's name. It gives you a basic overview of each of the shifts, so the start time, the end time, the driver's name, the vehicle ID and registration, the total shift length, the total amount of work and rest within that shift, the rule set, the distance travelled based on the odometer entries, tells you whether or not there was a breach found, what the GPS settings on the device were, and what version of the app the driver was using. If you click on the View Details button, you also get a very similar summary of the driver's shift that you saw for the current shift. So it's basically a graphical view of everything the driver did throughout that shift. A tabular view, so just a list of all the work rest changes. You'll see the driver's position plotted on a map. This is not very interesting because I've just been sitting in one spot, and you can see again the driver's speed and distance traveled throughout the shift if you've got the telematics package. Any breaches that occurred you'll see here, and pre-starts, geofence alerts, tour drivers and COR partners are all listed there. Another useful feature is this is actually really useful to manage timesheets and hours the drivers have been using, because it gives you a really detailed breakdown of everything the driver did, and it tells you the total shift time the driver completed. So you can go into approved hours and you can click on that. By default, the approved hours are the same as the total shift time. You can adjust that if you think the driver worked more or less hours, and you can save that, and now that becomes the driver's approved hours. So if you go back to the completed shift screen, you'll see that this shift has had 11 hours and 8 minutes approved. And what you could do is you can download this to a spreadsheet and you can export that to payroll. You can also do a number of other sort of analytics on the completed shifts table. So if you want to work out how far each of the drivers, so you can open up that download in Excel, for example, and it gives you the same sort of information. You could import this, for example, these times into a payroll system, and you could do any other sort of analytics on this. For example, you might want to work out how much work each driver is doing per shift, and what distance they're traveling, and so on. So that's another useful feature of the Hubfleet EWD.